Gina Kunadian. Wow, what a great story Gina has. Um, Parent died when she was 10 months old, single house, uh, a single parent household, and she did well at school, but she turned to alcohol and drugs, became an addict. Did incredible things during it. She was uh, did help. She was overweight, so she helped people lose weight. She relapsed herself with the alcoholism. She turned it all around. She found God. She found religion, and she completely turned around after many relapses. Now she spends her professional time helping others, specifically women with alcoholism, weight loss, etc. But wait till you hear her story about where she was and where she is now. Her perspective on discipline is very interesting, how she equates perseverance and gratitude all into discipline. She's got great videos in her social media where she's got these life hacks. I share four of them that I particularly liked. You're going to enjoy. Top three ways to stop the overwhelm when you get overwhelmed. I'll give you the first one. It's breathe. I don't know if you're going to believe the second and third. Great conversation with Gina. You're really going to enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I wish her success, and I know she's going to do well. She's just full of energy, full of confidence. Wait till you hear and or see our conversation. Thanks so much for listening. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz. People ask me, how did I lose 130 pounds? The quick answer is always discipline. I started my business, wasn't paying attention to my health, was eating too much, drinking too much sweets. My daughter was born. Next thing I know, I'm pre-diabetic, I have hypertension. I knew something had to change. Discipline. I, like many of you, have faced many challenges in your career, in your family, in your life, in your faith. How did you attack them? How did you approach them? How did you solve them, hopefully? It all had to have some degree of discipline. I'm also asked, how did you found and start a tech business? And it lasted over 25 years. Discipline. I was committed to it, enjoyed technology, didn't enjoy some aspects of it, but knew it was necessary. Discipline. Our podcast mission: how do we use discipline to better ourselves and society? Join me, please, as I talk to interesting people and discuss how they use discipline in their family, in their passion, in their careers, and how it helped them. Our podcast vision: growth through learning from others. Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. It'll be light and serious. Join us, please. Thank you for consideration. Have some fun. Gina Kunadian, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it today. So, is there a big difference in how women recover from alcoholism versus men?
Well, that is a great question. That'd be a little bit difficult for me to speak on because I'm not a man. So I don't know how, and I work with women, so I don't know how men can recover. But I do see in the statistics that men have a higher suicide rate when it comes from
Oh, wow.
alcoholism, as well as death as well. And women, I mean, from experience, I know what it's like. So I would say this is just assuming that men, because of their role in life, it's a little bit more difficult for them to get out of that habitual behavior of
Hmm.
drinking. Um, I feel like they take on a lot of stress, perhaps. Being like the leader of the household, bringing in the income, making sure the family is safe and protected, right? And women, for myself, like I drink out of building more
Hmm.
confidence. So I'm speaking for myself. I know other women probably have different reasons why they drink, but mine was just to build confidence.
Hmm.
So, yeah, does that answer
Yeah,
your
absolutely.
question?
You help women, recover. But I just wonder, have you ever helped a man? Do you think it would be different? I wonder why. I mean, you can talk about women because you are a woman, as you mentioned, and, most certainly, but yeah, I just wonder about that, and you bring up some very valid points. And
Mhm.
also you mentioned that, you don't not that you don't like it, but you don't use the kind of the Alcoholics Anonymous 12-step method. Why I hear some people don't
Right.
like that. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Sure. Yes. So my experience when I was going to those AA meetings, I felt like it was like a shame a meeting.
Oh,
So I felt like we're just being like we're all sharing like why I'm drinking and shame on me. I shouldn't do this. And then I also felt that it wasn't a safe space for myself and maybe perhaps other women as well because men would then try to get your number and it's like you know what I'm not trying to date
wow.
anybody at the time because in my first marriage this is the time that I he left me literally because of drinking and so I wasn't looking in for a relationship especially during recovery there's just no way so I just didn't feel comfortable and I didn't really like align with the women in there as well. Like I had different goals and outlooks in life and their goals were
Hmm,
different. So it was very difficult for me to find like what is something that would help me in my recovery for myself.
hmm. That's a really good point. You could see how men would kinda try to not all men, of course, but some may wanna
Of
yeah,
course.
may want to kind of, pounce, and, on that. It's a terrible thing, and I sometimes I hear that people have hard problems with the 12 step because there's a higher being, that issue right there, which is ironic because in 2017, when you turned yourself completely around, when you had enough, when you had that talk with your doctor, is when you found God, is when you found that higher power and you turn your life completely around.
That's so true. I always knew of that higher power, but I never followed that
Mm,
higher power. I was never, disciplined in the way like, okay, fellowship, serve, and just not think about myself for a change, but think about others before myself. And that's what I had to do when I went to the doctors. I'm like, you know what? Why am I being selfish? I need to think about my children. So I thought about my children. I'm like, you know what? I surrender. Lord, please
hmm,
help me recover because I cannot do it without you. And from that moment on, when I left that hospital, I mean, I was already recovering for a week, detoxing in the hospital. But from that moment, I remember going back home and then seeing the bottle of vodka in the freezer. I literally just took it, poured it out, and threw the bottle
wow.
out in the garbage. And I said, that's it. That's it. No
Cold
more.
turkey. Wow, that's amazing. And I wanna bring up, your what happened in your childhood and everything, only for the listeners to kinda get a frame, when you were
Yeah.
young, you're in California, youngest of 4, and when you're 10 months old, your father dies, your mother has to work, and
Right.
you have limited time with her. She's got to work many jobs. You still excel in school though, and you love behavioral science, and you end up psychology and psychiatry, and you end up majoring in it. But then you say you kind of turn to this destructive behavior.
Absolutely. Yes. It was challenging because, you know, like I said before, with going to school, there's a lot of temptations in college. Hey, let's go party here. Hey, why don't we go here, there? And everything socially involved alcohol. And of course, in there you're trying to meet new people, you're trying to,
Hmm.
bond. And so what way is best than with drinking? You loosen up, you feel more relaxed, you can feel like you're somewhat yourself, which you're really, really
Right.
not. You're just completely somebody else. And then you just try to fit in. And so I saw myself in that path, just going out, and I really enjoyed like the attention I was receiving from men and women. I was feeling like, oh, I'm
Hmm.
popular now. I felt more confident, and I felt like, wow, I feel pretty cool.
So like these social pressures
Yeah.
really, really kind of got to you. And Um, were there drugs as well, or was it just alcohol?
Oh, there was drugs as well. Actually, drug was the very first thing I've tried when I was, let me see, 17 years old, a junior
Mm,
in high school. It was ecstasy. I didn't even smoke one cigarette. I never tried marijuana. The first thing I went
Whoa.
was did is ecstasy, and it was at a rave over in Oakland, California. And from then on, I was just doing drugs, and then till, like I said, college, and then I started really drinking, heavily drinking.
Amazing. Is it true that do you think it's true that when a person is drunk, it shows who they really are?
It's just, I feel it's a great question. We think it shows us who we really are, but it really brings the evil
Mm,
out of us. Like they say, evil, it's very deceiving. It could be so charming and so like beautiful to the eyes and this, that. But inside is like not good,
mm.
wicked. I should say wicked. So I don't think so at all.
Hmm.
No, not at all.
But I know some bad drunks. I've had some friends that are not that, they're good people, but when they get drunk, they want to start fighting. They want to start, and then I know the opposite. I know people who get really lovey and want to hug and, want to just, so there's kind of both spectrum. So I don't know if there's truth to that or not.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And, I had a best friend who unfortunately passed away because of
Mm.
drinking. And we were in our early 20s at this time. And she was like my drinking buddy. Whenever she would drink, she would be that ugly.
Uh,
She was just very evil and just like, you can just very mean and cruel and wanted to fight
wow.
everybody. And I was more of the drunk who was very lovey-dovey,
Yeah,
happy go
me too.
lucky, meeting everybody. That was me. And so there's two sides for sure. But for my own experience, I don't think I've ever been like
Mm,
angry, angry. Besides with my husband at the time and things like that at home, but not with anybody that I didn't know per
mm.
se.
And there was also an issue of some abuse too that you took, and that's why you kind of went that direction as well.
Yeah, so going back, I was only 6 years old, and my mom was dating a man, which she didn't know, by the way, what
Right,
was going on
right.
at all until I was like later in my 20s. But he
Uh,
sexually abused me for about good 6 years. And so, like, I didn't know how to express like my feelings towards men, having boyfriends in high school, and I would be very reactive towards situations and conversations, and it was just not a good scene at all with when I had relationships with
hmm.
men.
And this was kind of part of the cocktail of why you would turn to these things, and part of the
Right, right.
destruction. And you found yourself, at the lowest level. You went to you got help, but then you relapsed again. You came back, and what we talked about a little bit, but what finally turned you around, Gina?
I would definitely say, my children. What it was is that, and I'll tell you the breaking point. It was the time where I remember moving into my new place because of course the relationship with one of my son's fathers didn't work out, and my whole area from like the mid, or like I should say the torso, all the way down to my hips where my lower back is, excruciating pain, and I just didn't know what it was, and I couldn't move, I couldn't do anything. Fortunately, my son's father took me to the hospital and they did a CAT scan and they said, okay, you have pancreatitis. And then that's when the doctor said, you know what, you have, if you keep on drinking the way that you are drinking, and literally, I swear, I was drinking about um, a fifth of vodka a day. That was like the norm. And then I needed that to function. Otherwise, like, when they say, oh, don't drink and drive. Well, for me, it was like I needed to drink in
Wow.
order to drive. Otherwise, I would have the shakes, maybe pass out, have a seizure. Who knows, So I needed that. I was very dependent on it. So when I went to the doctor, she says, you know what, you're going to die in 10 years if you keep on drinking the way that you're doing. And I'm like, you know what, what am I doing? I have two beautiful boys, that they need a mom, they need their mother. And I need to stop being so selfish and be there for my children. So that's when I decided, you know what, and then of course turning to Christ, I was like, I cannot do this alone because I've tried everything, literally everything, and nothing worked. It wasn't until that moment that I'm like, you know what?
Wow.
Done. No more drinking. Yeah, so that was in September of
And
2017.
it was that doctor's conversation that really that put you over the edge.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
absolutely amazing how I don't liken my situation to yours at all, but I don't. I gained a lot of weight, and, when I started my business, and the doctor said to me, "If you keep doing this, you're not gonna see your daughter graduate." So I just turned everything around.
Mm,
But it was talking, being in a doctor's office and, that doctor
mhm.
looking at me, and I still work with her now. And, she's sarcastic as anything. I'll go in there and for a checkup about 4 or 5 months ago. And she says to me, "Hey, Joe, did the Peloton break?" This was her way of saying I've gained a little weight. So her directness, it was really, do you see that doctor anymore?
No, I don't. It was just at the
Ah,
hospital that they took me for the emergency. It was a hospital in San Jose, California. I forget what it was called, but it was a Christ-based hospital. And I don't know, something led me to there. Like I remember saying, I want to go to this hospital. I don't
wow.
know why. It was very
Did
interesting.
you have a relationship with religion, with Jesus Christ before at all?
I was learning about it, like going to church here and there sporadically, but literally I was drinking inside the parking lot of the church before I would go inside. So, I mean, like, but I do recall like going there, just trying to like learn more about, you know, church and, Christianity. I was just learning.
But what fascinates me is, like, through this, you were at the Four Seasons in Silicon Valley being, a
Yes.
therapeutic, technician for, like, 15 years, and you also help people lose weight as well. I mean, is this
Yeah.
post that? Is this during?
During, I would definitely say so. I was drinking heavily, with, like I said, a fifth a day of
Wow.
vodka. Literally, it was like from, let's see, 2012, I'd say, until 2017.
And it never interfered with your work or with your clients?
Mm, no, because I needed it in order to
Say,
perform.
wow. And
Yeah,
you've been sober now for how long?
over 5 years now.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. And you're newly married and you have
Yeah.
stepsons, and your
Uh-huh.
your videos are just so full of life, Gina. And they're so,
Oh, thank you.
just you're so magnetic, and they're just so full of life. And uh I love some of your hacks. We'll get into them in a moment, but when you were teaching people how to lose weight, what was that process like? That must have been very rewarding.
Oh my goodness, I love that process. For me, I used to be very overweight
Ah,
myself. So I've experienced what it is to, be heavy and uncomfortable. And so I remember it was the time that I was in high school because, we had a little yo
of
yo diet
course.
here and there. And then my mom's like, okay, you're getting fat. I'm like, and I felt so sad. And I'm just like, and so I had a passion to help people because I lost weight during that time and then made a career out of it. And it was just so fulfilling and rewarding seeing transformations. It was beautiful seeing people, lose literally over a
Right.
hundred pounds. And it was just fascinating. And there's nothing rewarding than to help people throughout their any journey that they're going through. And at that time it was for weight loss.
And you would exercise and watch their diet with them? How would you work?
Oh yeah, so I was already at my goal weight, so just maintaining. But they would just come in weekly, and then we check in, make their menu plan, and then make sure they're on. Pretty much for accountability. I was like their accountability partner, making sure that they're still making some progress. And it's okay if they didn't lose a pound in 1 week. It's okay, because it's not about like it's the fact that you're going to get there. As long as you get to your
Right.
goal, your destination, and that's all what you're looking forward to is the end result.
Do you feel that you're good at inspiring people?
I am. I am. Even in my sickness, I was still inspiring
Mm.
people. I just wasn't inspiring myself, unfortunately.
Why do you think that is?
Just lack of
Mm.
confidence. Maybe I was feeding off, you know, having seeing their confidence go up kind of help build my confidence. I'm
Mm.
thinking, helping people that way.
Amazing.
But now is different. I'm definitely very
Yes.
confident.
Oh, yeah, it is, it shows.
I don't have a low
Yeah,
self-esteem
yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, but what I like about you as well in your great videos is that you're confident, but you're not arrogant. You know, there's a fine line there. Some people cross that line, but you don't. You stay very close to that confident line. It's nice.
Oh yes, definitely not
No,
arrogant.
no. In one of your interviews that, they asked you about, 3 character traits that, that were instrumental to your success. You said you're perseverant, consistent, and creative.
Yes,
Explain.
yes. Oh, so creativity. So we are all creators, from our creator. So we are meant to do things, to make impact, to grow, to evolve. So I feel that as long as I'm making progress and creating little things here and there, I feel fulfilled. And with perseverance, I was always taught never give up. It's only when you quit that you fail.
Mm.
So even and they always say, okay, it's not failure, it's just feedback, all these different little sayings, but never give up. Never ever give up. And it doesn't matter, like I said, it doesn't matter how long it takes as long as you get there. And everybody has a journey, everybody. And what was my three again? It
Crea
was perseverance. It was consistency. I was like, oh, total brain. Brain wasn't thinking there for just a second. So yeah, consistency. You want to make sure that you're consistent. For me, I have to be consistent, and that's how we develop good habits. Is just to be consistent, and that's what brings in the discipline as well.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing to me, and, what's remarkable to me about you is that you were overweight, you had addiction issues, but you just didn't fight them off, Gina. You turned it completely around and are helping others with it. That's the trait of a remarkable person. There's not really much to say after that. I'm just complimenting you.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate
Yeah,
compliments.
it is really, really, and, you have some hacks that I really enjoy that I wanna share with people because I wanna encourage anyone who's listening to watch your videos, but, one was, that I really enjoyed. You said, "Remember why you like this person."
Mm-hmm. Yes. Did you want me to talk about
Please.
that? Yeah. So, in any type of argument with
Yeah.
anybody, I mean, we all argue, doesn't matter. And if you're in a relationship with anybody, whether it's family member, coworker, just child, even spouse, there's going to be some disagreements and arguments. But you need to get over the fact that you're arguing
Yeah.
and know why you really love the person. I mean, if your child, obviously, it's your child. Of course, it's like unconditional love. If it's your spouse, why did you marry, him or her? Why? And if coworker, okay, you wouldn't be working with them if you
Right.
didn't like them. So always know why you like the person, and that will then you'll get over why you're
Mm.
mad at them. It's always helped me out. It's always a practice that helped me out.
It's amazing when something I agree, it's wonderfully put. Like, I remember after my one of my firstborn was my first child was born, and I came back from the hospital, and I remember that I had, like, a lot of issues that I had to deal with, and they all just went away,
Mm.
Gina. It's like, "Why am I worrying about these things? There's nothing to be worried. Look at that, I have a new human being in this house, and, she's part of my gene pool, why would I worry about the
Mhm.
pool person being late or whatever it may be, that all just goes
Right.
away. You have to remember why you love this person and why, put the trivial stuff away. Take out should. You make a point where you say, take out
Mhm.
should. Things should have gone this way, but they didn't. You want people to remove the word should.
Mhm. Yes, remove the word should because it is what it is, Life just happens. And oh, I should have done this. I should have done this. No, 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 no. Just live the moment and just work with what you have at that moment because that's what we're given and we just do the best that we can. And I just love the fact that I can help women in the process too, where they're like, "Oh, I should have worked out this time." Well, you know what? You can do it now. "Oh, I should have not eaten that." Well, you don't have to next time. It's just don't beat yourself
Mm.
up. It's okay. It's going to be
Yeah,
okay.
you talk about finding that inner peace.
hmm Yes, finding inner peace, and that's when you really need to be in the present time, because why are you worrying about something in the future that hasn't even happened
Mm.
yet? It hasn't happened yet. Why are you building anxiety if you don't even know if it's that whatever you're thinking about is going to actually happen? So I think a lot of us always worry, 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 and just focus on the present moment. And one of the practices I always tell my girls is like, just
Hmm.
breathe, recognize your surroundings, and just bring yourself back to present moment, to where you're at, and then always throw in some whatever you're grateful for
Sure,
as well.
gratitude.
That always
Yeah.
helps too. Some gratitude in there as
Do
well.
you do
Yeah,
yoga, Gina?
I do some stretching. I don't do yoga, but I do a lot of
Yeah, that
stretching.
helps. And
A lot of stretching, breathing
yeah,
exercises as
breathing. It's
well.
it's just so simple, but it really, really makes. And just saying that I took a deep breath, it makes a big difference. The party doesn't stop when you get sober. It's just beginning.
Yeah, the party doesn't. So it's just the beginning. When I used to drink, and thinking back about it, it was all an
Mm,
illusion. It was like my reality then, but it wasn't reality. It was all made up in my
mm,
in my head. It was whatever the poison I was consuming. It's created a false reality for me. So I thought I was partying, but no, I would feel sick afterward. I wasn't doing the things that I could have been doing. I wasn't being, the wife that I should have been doing. I wasn't being the mother that I could have
mm,
been doing or could have been. It wasn't until I stopped drinking that I looked at life completely differently. And I just recognized that, wow, there is so much more to learn. And the more I'm learning, there's so much that I don't know
mm,
still. I'm like, wow, there's so much out there, And so I'm constantly, meeting new people. I'm constantly collaborating with other women who are also helping
mm.
other women. And it's just something so powerful when you're serving and trying to make an impact. And I love just being there for people.
When you think about, I'll just see your youth, going through this, what you went through, everything you went through. Do you think to yourself, not only what it's almost out of body experience because you're not that person at all anymore?
Right. So it does feel like that. Sometimes I have to pinch myself. Is this
Mm,
me? Is this me? But it has always been me. It was just
interesting.
masked. It was always me.
Eh,
It's just unfortunately it was
yeah.
masked.
And would you be, I don't wanna say it was beneficial, but would you be doing the things you're doing now if you didn't have that?
That is a great question. And I think I really needed to experience what I
Mm,
experienced in order to then make an impact on other women who are going through their recovery phase. And I say, what, I don't regret anything.
right,
I don't
right.
regret anything. Everything has a plan, and your purpose will then be found once I believe once you surrender to a higher power, and mine so happened to be God. So that's what happened, and that was my plan, and that was His plan as well.
Mm,
All along, because I feel like the divine is within us. And so I feel like the Lord is always
hmm,
within us. And so if we have that within us, we can do anything. We can literally do
wonderful.
anything. And there should be nothing that should stop us. And we should just keep going. And that's what I've always kept in my mind. Like, you know what? I have the Lord with me. I'm going to
Mm.
keep going. Even if I, hiccup a little bit, that's okay. It's part of the process for me to move forward and grow stronger and evolve.
Is it less difficult for people who are trying to, remove the addiction, to learn from somebody who had the issue like yourself?
So, do you mean like is it difficult for people
Talk about
to?
alcoholism, like when women come to you and you help them get out of alcoholism, does it help that you had your history there? And look, I know how bad it can
Oh, I
be,
see. See.
and you don't want to compare how bad, mine might be worse than yours. But it was bad for me, but I was able to turn it around. And here's how I did it. Now I want to show you how to do it.
Exactly. It's. I think women are looking for other women who have the
Hmm.
same experience, who've experienced what they have gone through as well. Because you can't like go to a doctor, right, and then say go to there for an issue when they have never experienced that issue before. It's very hard for them to relate to
Hmm.
the patient. So same thing here. Like women come here or come to me, and then they feel so much more at ease and so much more comfortable because they're like, oh wow, okay, she's experienced this. I feel more comfortable talking. I feel more comfortable opening up. I feel more comfortable
Hmm.
being their authentic self.
And it's the same thing with the weight loss. I wonder if there's any
Right.
physical trainers that, that help people with weight loss who are always skinny. You would think that they'd
Yeah.
always had, this is how I did it, and now I can help you. I know you can do it because I was able to do it. I don't know. I
Yeah.
guess it's kind of, can you eat from a skinny chef? I don't know. I think that's a separate question, but I think you understand my point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, 3 steps to stop the overwhelm. Breathe, brain
Oh
dump on
yes.
paper, and pick top priority and handle it.
Yes. We often get so overwhelmed, and it really we take things too
Mm.
seriously, I think, here on earth. Way too seriously, and it doesn't
Hmm.
have to be that way. So I think a lot of people, are just overwhelmed, like, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to get this done, I have to do this. It stacks up, it stacks up, and then we get nothing done
Hmm.
because we're overwhelmed, right? And so what I've learned through one of the groups that I collaborate with called the Pitch Club is how to overcome overwhelm. And yes, step one is to, yes, always breathe. When in doubt, breathe. Just step
Mm.
away. And it doesn't have to be like, a 30-minute breathing exercise. Just take a couple of deep breaths. Inhale, exhale. And already your mind is not even thinking what it's thinking. And then just write whatever is on your mind on paper. Just because there's something about the pen and paper that
I love
just
it.
work. I don't know what it is,
Mm.
just works. And then just from there say, okay, what do I need to get done first? So you just get that done first, and then next, and then just cross it off as you go. And then you just feel so much weight lifted off your shoulders, and you're like, oh wow, okay. And then you feel even better because you've accomplished it. So it's really, really good. I love that little
Yeah, it's a
strategy.
great hack. Do you think that, you say stress, we take two things too seriously. I wonder if what your opinion is on it. Do you feel that it's an American thing? Like there's a lot of like Americans generally get a little too tense.
Yeah, I'm not yet because I don't have too many people that I know out of our
Mm.
country. So I'm not sure, but I would guess that Americans do have a little bit more difficult. And if you look at it this way too, and you'd probably understand this, the obesity rate in America is very high. When people are stressed, they
Mm.
tend to overeat. And so I would assume then put those two together. There's a lot of stress here in America more so than in other countries.
Yeah, I'm fortunate where my father's from Italy, and so he would send me over there as a youth, uh, and especially Southern Italy. I mean, Gina, they don't work. I mean, every day's a
Oh,
holiday, and it's just the whole lifestyle is just so stress free. Nobody's overweight because
mm,
everybody walks, and you know, so I just kind of get a different perspective on how society works. It's not that theirs is better than ours because there's a lot of bad things there too, but it's just different. And the way they handle stress is just, I remember when I went there, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago, and they asked me how many hours I work a week. And I said, well, I run my own business. So probably 50. And they slammed their hands down and they said, that's why you have gray in your hair. What are you doing working?
Oh.
They don't get it. So I just wonder when you say we take things seriously, um, too seriously, unfortunately, I think that's a lot of it's a hypothesis. It certainly could be wrong.
Yeah, yeah,
Who
yeah,
knows?
yeah. But I totally see. They're probably like, "What's going on over there where you're
Yeah,
sitting?
yeah.
You're working
Why is
too
it so
much."
stressful? Do you meditate?
Yeah, I do. Mine's more of prayer.
Mm,
I like to just take time in the morning and well, first, I always express what I'm grateful for. That's the first
gratitude.
thing because I always give praise. Yeah, gratitude. And then I just really just pray for others, and then it just gives me inner
Mm.
peace when I pray.
Ah, that's
I love
nice.
it.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned before, I started my business in the 90s. I ended up gaining a lot of weight. I lost about 130 pounds. People always ask me how you do it. Like there's some secret, Gina, like there's some, like I'm going to say, some easy way. It's just discipline, people. I just got discipline. My doctor told me, like I said before, you're not going to see your daughter graduate. By the way, she just graduated in Cal State, not too far from you. And
Wow.
so I just got focused and disciplined. So I wonder how discipline plays a role in your life. Do you consider it now? What do you think of discipline?
I love
Hmm.
discipline. It's because it's a challenge. You take your weakness and then you just push through. You do your best, and if you fall behind, and that's okay as long as you're pushing through it. And it, it's it's a little difficult, but you still do it because you know it's the right
Hmm.
thing to do. And plus, you have your goal. And if once you overcome your challenges that you want to take on, there's something that you just feel so much. You feel fulfilled
Hmm.
when you accomplish a goal.
It's fascinating. You equate discipline, yeah, with goal setting and perseverance. When you were younger, single household family, what you went through. I wonder, but you said you still were able to get really good grades. So was discipline involved there?
Yes, I guess that was discipline and how the teachers were kind of pushing you.
Mm,
Like, oh hey, you need to get good grades, and how my mom was pushing me. It probably wasn't for myself. It wasn't like a self-discipline, but it was more like a discipline, like, okay, my teacher is telling me to do this. My mom is telling me to, get better in this subject. So I feel like it was more I was being or I would get disciplined if I didn't do it right.
mm.
you know. And in sports as well, same
Very
thing.
interesting. And now, you devoted your life to Jesus. You're helping people with alcoholism and weight, and you have a beautiful family. You met your wonderful husband, serving the homeless, by the way. You met your wonderful husband.
Yes.
And I see pictures of you too, and it makes me so wonderful. And in your
Oh,
Instagram and,
thank you.
TikTok will, but it's absolutely wonderful now. And I wonder now, as this new person that you are, as you continue to grow, and uh, I wonder if you were to be asked
Mhm.
by somebody else, what are some of your traits? Would discipline be one of them?
It would be in the
Hmm.
top 5.
Very interesting.
Yeah, definitely, like I said, consistency,
Hmm.
perseverance. And but discipline, yes, because okay, I'm going to admit I'm not that disciplined when it comes to
Hmm.
sugar.
Me too.
And I think yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know what it is. And I think it has a lot to do with maybe drinking and
Mm.
stopping drinking. Then I get this sugar craving. And that's something that I'm working on. So I'm a work in progress with that. And that's the only thing I would say that I'm not.
Yeah.
100% disciplined in.
Oh, by the way, I fall short in many I mean, I'm disciplined in some areas that I want to be, but I don't claim to be the king of discipline. My goodness, no. I'm just saying I used it to lose a lot of weight, and I use it now in different aspects of my life. And I don't think it's I get pushback from people. They tell me, we don't need discipline. We need compassion, and we need love. And I say, oh, I agree completely. And there's no wrong answer.
Mhm.
I would think you just need a little bit of self discipline to love and to be compassionate.
Right.
I guess would be my point. Do you journal?
I do. I do. I don't have it with me right now, but it's normally always with me. It's like a called it's a super attractor journal. It's cute and pink and has stars on it.
Oh,
I make it pretty,
yes.
right? So yeah, I do journal, and I what I do is I journal what I want to teach, and a lot of what I write is in that journal, and I then go ahead and make a video about it.
And it's
Little
handwritten?
short clips. Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
handwritten.
I'm handwriting I handwrite notes. I do it in different colors. Yeah, I transcribe them digitally. I
Mhm.
just liked it, but I like the original. I like write pen and paper. Um, I really enjoy it. Journaling is really really important. I see people high achievers like yourself. They journal. They do some type of meditation and breathing. Um, Gina Kunadian,
You can just say
Kunadian.
Kunadian.
What motivates you?
So, motivation is an energy. So, if I have energy, I am motivated. And what creates and what makes me more motivated is my children. I am motivated for my
Mm,
children. I want to see them succeed in life. I don't want them to go through the path that I went through. I want to uplift their spirit. I want to encourage them. And I just want them to be happy in life. I know they're going to stumble and fall, and we all do. We're human beings, that's what we do. But it's the fact that we learn from our mistakes or our bad decisions, and then we just grow from there. So my children motivate me.
yeah, that's it's absolutely wonderful. How old are they?
Oh, so I have three kids. One's my stepson. So the youngest is 7, then my stepson is 8, and then I have a 14-year-old
Wow, all
son.
boys.
All boys.
Yeah, I have daughters, and I don't know what it's like to raise boys. You don't know what it's like to raise girls. I don't know. My girlfriend
Right,
has
right.
2 boys about the same age, and I get a little bit, a glimpse, but they're much older now.
Mm.
They weren't never young, and I don't know how it would be. I often wonder, um, how do you measure success?
That's a great question. Measuring success is not to give up. It's just in you have a goal in mind and you work towards it. You take action and you just go for
Hmm.
it. No matter what the universe throws at you, you go for it. And then, everybody measures it differently, but mine is like, you know what, you just don't
Mm.
quit. That's success to me, is just not quitting
Absolutely amazing.
and taking action.
Mm. And do you try to measure it periodically? Am I successful now? Am I being do you look at it that way?
Yeah, so well, success loves speed.
Ah.
So success loves speed. So I mean, if it's in your mind, instead of thinking about it, put it into action. Just get to it, and then just little by little, and then you'll see the results come and unfold, and you'll be like, I did it. This is awesome. I did it. And you'll have more goals, and then you'll feel then more successful once you've accomplished those as well. And so it's just something. Success to me is also just helping people and seeing
Mm.
their success. That's success also to me. There's so many different ways to measure success, but those are the two biggest
Good for you.
ones. Not quitting and then helping others be successful themselves.
And that's exactly what you're doing now. You're absolutely
Yeah.
remarkable. You went through these very hard times, and you not only turned it around for yourself, but you're helping others. And again, I'll say it again. It's remarkable, and it's through your faith, and it's
Thank you.
what you do. How can we? Thank you so much for your time today, Gina. How can we get in touch with you? Anybody who's
Oh,
listening,
thank
how can we get
you.
in touch with you?
Yes, I built
I
my
love
own
it too.
website, something that I thought I would never ever do in my lifetime. So it's just www.ginakunadian, GinaKunadian.com. There's my website there, and then I'm also on social media. You can just search me on Google, Gina Kunadian, and I'm all over there. And then my Instagram handle is the new you underscore Kunadian.
Absolutely. And you're on
Yeah.
Facebook, you're on TikTok, the Instagram's got all those great videos. Gina, thank you so much. I hope one day that
Thank
if I'm in the San
you.
Jose with my girlfriend, the four of us, we can go out and have a cup of coffee.
Oh, that'd be
And
great. I would
that it would be
love
great,
that.
and talk about all this. Thank you so much for your time today. I look forward to seeing you in the future, and continued success, and be well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pin's Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypins.com. There you'll find lots of resources, and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Would you like to financially support the podcast? You can go to our Patreon site. Consider $5, $10, or $20 a month. There's all kind of plans that we have there. There's like a one-time payment. What is this podcast episode worth to you? $25, $50, $100, $500, $1,000, $5,000. You be the judge. You can go to our PayPal account to do that as well. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pin's Discipline Conversations.